Hello everyone, welcome to this special session. Now this special session is targeted towards those students who are seriously looking at cracking RBI Grade B 2021 exams. So as you can see in the title of the lecture itself, we have written how to orient ourselves for the Grade B 2021 exams. Now we had been doing these sessions for each one of these sections and subsections in the past few days. You must have gone through Ravi sir's session on finance, Samir sir's session on ESI, where they discussed about how should you orient your preparation for the changes that have happened in the year 2020. So in year 2020, many of you must know that RBI has changed its pattern of exam, changed the syllabus of the exam in much significant ways. Okay, right. So in the light of the recent changes, how should we orient our preparation is something that these sessions are all about. So in finance and ESI, we have already done it. If you have not watched those, please go ahead and watch those lectures. The link is there in the description. Today we are going to look at the management subsection of ours and see how do we orient ourselves for RBI Grade B Phase 2 and specifically the management area for the RBI Grade B 2021. Okay, right. So first we will look at the changes of 2020 syllabus vis-a-vis the previous year's syllabus. As I told you that there had been significant changes in the pattern as well as the syllabus in the previous year, that is the 2020 exams. Okay, vis-a-vis the 2018-2019 exams. Secondly, how to orient yourself for these changes. Now that is very important. How do we orient ourselves for these changes is something that we are going to address today. And here we are not going to talk about, we are going to assume that even if you are preparing by yourself, then how should you approach preparation of the RBI Grade B 2021 exams management section. Okay. In this, there is another question that is nagging at the back of our mind, because the RBI has changed the pattern and the syllabus considerably this year. What if they change again? That can also happen. Na? What if they change again? So how do we handle those changes? If there are changes, if that would also build into the uncertainty of the exam, how do we handle that? So we will discuss that also. Essentially, please understand this. This session is directed only to the sincere, serious students who want to get to that coveted job of RBI Grade B. These are not for students who are, on the byline thinking, array, syllabus has changed. Should we prepare for it? Should we not prepare for it? These are not for people who are on the, sidelines. No. If you are sincere, if you are motivated enough to give RBI Grade B your best shot, then this session is definitely going to help you. Why? Because simple. See, whatever the syllabus, there would be some people who would be getting into that job, right? And if there are some people who would be getting into that job, why not you? That is as simple as it. So those 300, 400 people who would get into the job in the RBI Grade B 2021, why not one of them should be you? So if you are motivated about the job, then this session is going to help you. But if you are thinking that because RBI has changed the syllabus, therefore should I go or should I not go, then this session might not help you, because then you are doubting your motivation itself. Right? So if you are motivated enough to go for this and give your best to this exam, then we can guide you how to give that best, in which direction you should give your efforts so that you get the best results. That we can do. And finally, I am also going to share with you my plan of what I am going to do in the RBI Grade B course of the management section, what I am going to do in the Meritshine course. Okay, so that you have an idea that these are the things that we would be done in the course. So even if you are not taking the course, you are preparing by yourself, you can get hint from there and incorporate those stuff in your preparation too. Okay, right? Okay, so these are the major agenda of today. So let's start off. Let's start off with the first agenda. Let's look at the changes of 2020 syllabus vis-a-vis the previous year's syllabus. Okay, first we will look at the pattern change that has happened. Okay, so if you look at 2018 and 19 pattern, the pattern was pretty straightforward. Let's look at the finance and management paper. The finance and management paper had objective type questions, 90 minutes time and 100 marks to it. Obviously we are looking at only phase 2 here, right, not phase 1. So if you look at 2020 and 2019, the phase 1 pattern did not change. The nature of the questions became a little more challenging. That's a different issue, but the pattern was the same. So coming back to the pattern of management, so objective type questions, so all questions objective, and you were given 90 minutes time, and there was 100 marks. And that was same for all of the papers. Paper 1, economic social issues, that also, and English writing skills for that also. Okay. Now, amongst this, only English writing skill was descriptive, subjective. The rest two were objective. But in 2020, what was changed was that from being a full objective paper, it became a 50-50 paper. 50% objective, 50% descriptive. So, the objective type paper now had 30 minutes time and 50 marks. Okay. Whereas the descriptive type paper was of 90 minutes and it had 50 marks. So if you see, technically the total time also increased to 120 minutes due to the introduction of descriptive, and obviously the descriptive was introduced to the tune of 50% of the weightage of the whole section. Okay. Okay. So that was the pattern change. A significant shift from a full objective paper to a 50% objective, 50% descriptive paper. And this happened with both ESI and finance and management. English remained the same. Descriptive type paper, it used to come earlier also. This time also it came descriptive type paper, and 90 minutes, 3 questions, same things. Okay. Now let's look at the syllabus changes. So this was the pattern change. But how did the syllabus change mirror itself in management subsection? Okay, we'll look at only the management section in this. See this. just look at this. The management section syllabus in 2018-19 looked something like this. Okay, you can see the length and the width of this syllabus. Whereas in 2020, the management syllabus became this. So arguably, management had the biggest changes that had come in its syllabus with respect to the previous year's syllabus. Now, the changes does not only, is not limited to the fact that many new topics were added and many topics from the old were supposedly deleted. Why am I saying this supposedly deleted? I'll come to that in a moment. But the importance of the new area seemed to be high in the sense that the management syllabus was created in a more deep form. Okay, in a more detailed form. Right. So, if you look at this, looking at this is taken from the notification, 2018-19 notification and 2020. But it would be hard pressed for us to understand the real changes just by looking at these two. Obviously, we can understand that there were many changes, but what were the real changes? For that, I will go to the next slide. But before that, I will want to show you another thing. The question of this section will be basic in nature. Now this was written in 2018 and 19, which technically was missing in 2020. From the experience that we had of 2020 exam, we can say that, though the questions were not very much difficult, but they can also not be said to be only basic in nature. So, an amount of application was inherently present in the kind of answers that you need to write for the questions that came in 2020. Now, that was true for 2018 and 2019 also, but we'll have to understand that in 2020, let's say for example, out of the objective questions of 50 marks, 20 to 22 marks were from management. And out of them, almost 50% or more were application questions. Plus, there was descriptive and descriptive, even if it is direct question, that has an amount of application to it. Right. Whereas in 2018-2019, let's say 2019 first, there was around 50 questions or 50 marks from management. Almost half of the paper was from management. And out of it, 10 to 15 marks were application oriented and 30 to 35 were pretty direct ones. So, technically the way they have approached the questions were also a little application oriented, and that might be the reason that they have eliminated it, or they must have eliminated it for the reason that they have given a detailed syllabus. I don't know why they have eliminated it from the 2020 syllabus, but 2020 notification, but they have eliminated this. Now let me go on to the next slide where I would show you the differences with clarity. Okay, I have referred to this in one of my previous lectures also when the notification came, but I'll do it in more detail this time. You see, 2019, this was 2019 syllabus, which was similar to 2018 syllabus, and this was 2020. So 2019 syllabus, if you look at it, can be divided into 6 broad parts: management, fundamentals of management, leadership, human resource development, motivation, moral incentives, communication, and corporate governance. Okay, so there were 6 areas. Now, what happened this year? First of all, the orientation also changed. The way they put up the syllabus also changed. If I today have to make a summary of the syllabus, and that's what I have done for you, making a summary of the syllabus change that has happened and summary of the syllabus of 2020. So then, fundamentals of management and organization, under the heading of fundamental management and organizational behavior, came all of these things. Now, all the black ones were already present in the previous syllabus also, but it was just that it was not present in detail. So, anyone who was seriously preparing for RBI Grade B would have earlier also done the same things, but here the only difference is that they have mentioned it specifically. Now, this red one is something that is new. Nudge theory is something which was new in 2020 syllabus. Now, next was meaning and concept of organizational behavior. Now, this part was new because organizational behavior per se as a topic in itself was missing in previous syllabus, which was made integrally a part of it and a major part of it in this year's syllabus. So, and in that also they had specified personality, the variance of personality, various factors affecting personality, then Big 5 model of personality, Ocean model, right? Reinforcement. Reinforcement was earlier there also, but they mentioned it this year specifically so that we know the concept of reinforcement. Then perception, concept, perceptual errors, all of this stuff. Then motivation. Motivation was earlier also there, and now it's also there, right? So earlier obviously they did not give details, now there is detail. So I'll not put them in difference. Then came leadership, which was there earlier also, today also. In leadership they had specifically mentioned. Now a lot of modern things people did not used to do earlier because they were not mentioned in leadership specifically. But this year, because they had mentioned it, like for example, Johari window. Now, this is something, it's a modern concept. So, a lot of people missed it. I never, supported that because it is not specifically mentioned in the syllabus, you would miss it, because if it is integral to the part of your learning process of that particular topic, you should be learning it, right? So, I had done Johari window even if, in our leadership lectures only, I mean, as an extension of the leadership lectures, but a lot of people left them. Now, that shows that, they wanted to see the major things are being covered and the candidate knows about the detail of these important modern concepts also. Then organizational change, which came in as a complete change, organization change as well as organization behavior came in as a part of the organization behavior and development, and came in new, right? So, Kurt Levin's theory of change, strategies for change, theories of planned change, all of these were specifically put into the syllabus, and these were new. Then, the syllabus was divided in this part. One part was fundamental of management and the other part specifically focused on ethics and corporate governance. Now, please my dear friend understand, corporate governance was only 20% of earlier syllabus. But if you look at today, it is almost 30-40% of today's syllabus, right? Okay, so, and why? Because ethics itself has been included in it. Ethics itself has been included in it. Let me show this to you. All of this, all of this is new, all of this is new, right? Okay, this was not present in earlier syllabus. Whether it is rights and duties, justice and fairness, theories of ethics, utilitarianism theory, virtue ethics, ethics in compliance, finance, different activities, not present. Okay, corporate governance was present and it is still present to the extent where it should be, and the communication part has been put in here. So, if that 40% includes the 20% of communication, 5% of this corporate governance and 15% of this, right? Okay. So, this is not 20%, this is hardly 10% of the whole, content wise 10%. So, this is what the new, weightages become. So, these are the new things. Now, you remember I told you that some things are supposedly not there. I mean, from 2019 to 2020, some things have changed, some things have been added and some things are supposedly deleted. And what is that supposedly deleted part? This one. Human resource development. Now, my question is it really deleted? Is it really not a part of the new course? Now, if you think, if you look at the course specifically, you would see that the current course integrates a lot of human resource development concepts inside it, whether through leadership or organization development, right? Okay, so basically, and even see, if you look at the the sample paper that RBI released in 2020 just before the phase 2 exam, there they had given a descriptive question from human resource development. So why did they give it to you if they think that human resource development is outside syllabus? Because technically it is not outside the syllabus. See, what has happened is that to get into details, they have gotten into details of some specifics, but they have also sort of given you an idea that anything that is relevant for a person to know about management and ethics has been strengthened. Management and ethics, they should know about it. Any basic stuff that should be known. And okay, now the only thing you can say is that the organizational development part has been added to it. So the human resource development has become larger because human resource development and organization development are closely related. So it has become larger, and ethics is a new thing that has been included in it, right? So technically, if you look at the syllabus, nothing has been per se reduced. And there is again this fact that a lot of things when you would have to study in here, you will have to take example or take help from these theories. So obviously we'll have to study that also. Now this is very important for you to know. People do not say this, right? So, and I am telling you this very clearly. Do not miss this part, right? Because there might as well be questions this year from this part also. So just because it is specifically not mentioned, it is still a part, an integral part of the conceptual clarity of management, and therefore don't miss it. Because see, RBI, it seems, is going towards a model where they want to see a candidate to have conceptual clarity, ability to apply, right? All of this would not be possible if he misses the whole segment of this, right? Okay, so remember this. A lot of people might say that this is not necessary, but no, my dear friends, they are wrong. This is also necessary. Now, this was the change of syllabus, and in my own way I had shown you the change of syllabus. Now comes the main important question: how do we orient ourselves? And then another nagging doubt: what if it changes further? Sir, you are saying that it has become more inclusive. What if they want to make it more inclusive? What would happen then? Yes, they can do so. No one can predict that RBI is not going to change next year also, or include elements of management in next year also. But then, let us look back at the changes that has happened and understand why these changes happened. These changes happened due to two major reasons. First, they want to see the conceptual clarity, right? And they want to see the application skills. Now, in conceptual and application skills, and therefore descriptive, and when both of them in conceptual clarity as well as application skill, descriptive plays an important role. And in the conceptual clarity part, there is one important thing that was missing in earlier earlier syllabus, that was ethics, which has been included. And organization behavior, which should have been a part earlier also, because human resource development only you can, make sense of it when it is studied alongside this, that has been made a part. So they have tried to make it more inclusive in nature. So that was the direction: descriptive, including descriptive as a part of the pattern, and introducing these new areas. So apart from these areas, are there some other areas that are remaining that needs to be included? Major areas, no, but then there are concepts or theories that have come in the recent times that have changed the way in which we look at businesses and management. Let me give an example. Like, for example, Blue Ocean strategy. A very, very popular strategy in the European as well as the American markets. But that's not a part specifically mentioned in the course. They can become a part of your course. Correct? Right. Okay. So, benchmarking process. Not specifically part of your course, but can be made a part of your course. So, a whole segment like ethics, would that be added? Very less chance. But minor additions, would it happen? Very high chance, right? Very high chance. So that means what? That means that we'll have to include this possibility in our plan of preparation also, isn't it? That means what? I mean, we are smart people, right? You are smart. You are sitting for one of the most coveted job of this country. So obviously you are smart. So your smartness dictates what? It dictates that we should be prepared for any event that can happen. And this year's change has proved us that this kind of minor tweaks can definitely happen. So how do we orient ourselves, and whatever changes further, these two can be combined together to make our strategy, and that's where I would help you. How to orient yourself? First, make a detailed syllabus. Now for this, I have made your work easier. Refer to the last slide and your detailed syllabus is there. You don't have to make your own detailed syllabus. Only thing you would remember that though the 2020 syllabus did not contain the HRM, you should make it a part of your studies too. Okay, now then collect sources. Now, is RBI telling us anything about sources in management? I mean, RBI had always been detailed in ESI and finance, but management, till 2019 notification, they did not give any source of management. But 2020 was the first notification where they gave us sources for management, some sources of management. So these are the books that RBI gives. Stephen Robbins and Mary Coulter's Management, then Organizational Behavior of Bohra and Stephen Robbins, then Human Resource Management of Gary and Biju. And I have gone through these two books. These two books are good, so you can definitely refer to them, right? I haven't gone through this, so I will not be able to give you a review of this. Fundamentals of Human Resource Management, again, I have gone through this book and I can vouch for it. It's a good book, right? But and I'll come to it. What is the problems with these books? Then Business Ethics Concept and Cases, Manual G. This is again another book which I haven't gone through, but I have gone through this and I have an idea about this book. I have also not gone through this, so I cannot give you an idea, but this is good. I've gone through this. This is also useful. You see, but then even if you go through these books, the challenge lies is that these books contain a lot of information which is not really relevant for you, because you are not required to be an expert of these fields. And when it comes to ethics or corporate governance, there are so many legalities to it. You really do not want to get into that. So what is necessary and what is not is something that you'll need to be very wary about, so that you do not invest your time in things which are not necessary. That's one. Are these books enough? No. Apart from this, I have some suggestions for you which would definitely help you, and put them together with the suggestions, the recommendations of what has come in RBI Grade B notification. You would have a proper repository of content from which you can pick and choose and create your own notes. Okay, so what are my suggested sources? NCERT Business Studies books, 11th, 12th Business Studies books, Harold Kuhn's Essential of Management, then Edward Russell's 50 Management Ideas, Edward D. Bono's 6 Thinking Hats, Stephen Cummings's History of Management, right? So these are some of the books that I would recommend to you. Apart from these books, right, taken together, they would more or less cover all the areas that are there. Some of the things, like for example, nudge theory, like I said, blue ocean strategy, they would not be a part of these. They might not be in these books. So for that, you would have to just surf on the net, because for everything you cannot buy a book, right? But then yes, you have to collect a source. So pick up 7 to 8 books, and or at least 5 to 6 books, at least 5 to 6 books, and create a repository of these books so that you can take notes from it, because that's the next 2 step. Study by making linkages and refer to multiple sources, because some topic would be somewhere, some topic might not be referred to in that particular book. And make notes of all important parts, theories, application, all important parts. Now these 2 are very, very important, primarily important. Referring to multiple sources and making notes, your own notes, because they would help you a lot. Now, let's say once you are done with a particular module or submodule. What do I mean by submodule? Let's say Fundamentals of Management is done. Fundamentals of Management is done. So once you are done with Fundamentals of Management, then you write descriptive answers based on questions that can come on Fundamentals Management. Now please don't delay your descriptive preparation for the end. that I would go through the whole syllabus, understand it thoroughly, and then only I would write descriptive answers. No, my dear friend, don't do that. Start writing descriptive answers after you have completed with the first module itself. Then leadership module done. Take up 4 to 5 practice questions of descriptive from leadership module. Module wise you should practice objective questions as well as descriptive questions. Is it clear? Okay, right? Now, practice question based on them, I already told you, including taking mocks. Now, mocks obviously would come at a later stage of the preparation when you are done with all the modules, right? Obviously. Then complete course 3 to 4 weeks prior to exam. Complete the course 3 to 4 weeks prior to exam. Now, this is very important. This would ensure that you are prepared from the front of what has come last year. Let's say if there is any change in this year's notification, then you have enough time to be better prepared than others. Be better prepared than others in this. Now that's what happened in this year also. See, we ended the course, before the notification came, 1.5 months before the notification came, or maybe way back than that, the starting part of the course. So when the changes came, then our students could focus on the changes and just go on revising what they had done earlier, and that was done. But then imagine a scenario, and that happened also. Some of our students who did not study earlier, they were in a fix. They got frustrated. They got panicked looking at the hugeness of the syllabus. So they were not done with the earlier part also, and now they had to the new thing to deal with also. So don't do that. Complete the course 3 to 4 weeks prior to exam. That would make you prepared for any uneventful change or eventful change that happens. Plus, you would get a time to revise a lot. Midterm revision, end-term revision, all types of revision, including descriptive. So, let's say, for example, you are done with the fundamentals of management module and let's say leadership module. After these two modules, you take a midterm revision. So, refer to the notes that you have made in these two and take a test of these two. Okay, right? This way you should be orienting yourself if you are preparing by yourself. You getting my point? So if you are a serious candidate and you're preparing by yourself, this is the way you should plan your studies. And look at this. If you are, this would make yourself oriented towards how to plan for the studies. Plus it makes you prepared for future changes if there is any, because you would be prepared for the previous year's exam automatically because you are completing it earlier. Then plus you have these books to refer to where you would have anything that comes from the changes, you will have them. Okay. Acha. Third, very important, last but not the least, study by making linkages. Linkages mean stories. Link one theory with other. Link the downfall of one theory with the rise of another theory. Link the development of one concept or theory based on the application of another theory. Getting my point? The linkages should be clear to you, because in a scenario like this where you have so much theory of management, until and unless you make them easy to remember for yourself, you are not going to remember it. And that will only be done through making proper linkages, understanding the background of it, the story of it. Getting my point? Right? Okay. So that's going to be very important, because even if it changes, somewhere down the line in the story, you might be able to fit in the new changes that are there. You get my point? For example, Johari window. Johari window we had already done before even the syllabus changes came. Why? Because it fit into the scheme of discussion of how do we evaluate a particular scenario, right? So if for a particular person, so that led us to Johari window automatically. So even when the change came in, it was not a change for us because we had done it as a part of our knowledge building process, because we have to study through linkages, and we did that. Getting my point? Right? So this is the way you should study. Then even further changes would also not perturb you. Now, coming to the last part of today's lecture, how are we planning to prepare ourselves in Meritshine RBI 2021 course? Now, in this, it would be helpful for you to understand how we are going to prepare. If I explain to you the design of the course, if I explain to you the design of the course, you will get an idea how I have incorporated all the elements I think is important, as I shared with you in the last slide. I have incorporated them as a part of our Meritshine course design. So, even if you are preparing by yourself, it would give you an idea that these are the things that I can take for myself. Yes, you'll obviously have to do it by yourself, but you at least would get an idea and start off with. First, what we do is complete theory classes using association technique. I talked about linkages. So to address that linkage part, we use association technique. Now, anyone who has gone through my management lectures on YouTube also, they would also know that how I teach management. I teach management through stories, through association, through linking with the previous concepts, the contemporary concepts, especially the most important areas, right? Okay. Now, after that, there would be extensive notes, comprehensively curated from the base source. Now, if you are a Meritshine student, you need not go for those 7-8 books. No. You just need to follow my notes. Right? Okay? Because all that dirty work has already been done by me for you. So then after you have done with the concept lecture, you go through the notes. Once you go through the notes, right, you get a clear cut idea, but then obviously when you go through my class notes, you also, or material after that I give for you to read, you also make your own notes. And I will come to that in your responsibilities. Now then after that, after every module, there would be a class test. There would be a test on that module. There will be a test on that module so that you can see whether you have incorporated the concepts that we have learned. Then activities and assignments. This will also help us in midterm revisions. The activities and assignments that we'll do time to time. Obviously, as you know that if the notification does not change, then your course of management would be over way before even the notification, let alone the exams. And that would give you a lot of time to revise the course too. For the descriptive part, this was the concept part as well as the objective part. For the descriptive part, I would write for you. I'll give you model descriptive answers of 15 to 20 most important topics across modules. Plus, I'll also give you a list of descriptive topics to be prepared by yourself that you should write. And this will not end in here. There would be time to time descriptive activity in the Facebook group where I would reevaluate your answers and give feedback on them. Imagine you would get feedback, your answers would be evaluated. So where you would know that this is what is wrong with my writing, so therefore I need to change this, and in the next activity you would change accordingly. Okay? So see, all the design itself has incorporated all the parts that are necessary as I have talked about in the last slide. Right? But my dear friends, this design would mean nothing, zero, zilch, if it does not get your support. So you do have a responsibility to make this design effective. This design can only create results for you if you are doing these things. And what are those things? What are the things that are expected from you? First, follow my instructions sincerely inside the class, in the group, Second, make your own notes. Now this is, you will have PDF notes of mine, but you need to make summary notes of them too, from lectures, from class notes, and make a comprehensive notes. Participate in the activities that I conduct, descriptive, objective, whatever activities that I conduct. Every one of us would conduct activities, regular activities, participate in that. Third, be on schedule. With respect to lectures, completing assignment, taking mocks, please be on schedule. Right? Okay. And revise regularly from your own notes. For like example, your first 2 modules are done. Right? Then your third module is going. Once a week, just take up your own notes and go through the last 2 modules, because you saw that there are so much to do. So many things to do. So many theories, so many concepts. You might forget them, na? You might forget them. So if you revise them, you would not forget them. Obviously, linkages and the association techniques would definitely help. But still, repetition has its own value. Okay? Okay, right? So this is what the design of our course is, and this is what your responsibility is. So if you doubt that you will not be able to do this, don't join our course. But if you're sure that you would be able to do this, then forget your worries and just start following what I say, and you would be super duper prepared for the management section. Okay? So now, is it clear how you should prepare for the management section of RBI Grade B? You see, is it unmanageable? You saw the changes. We also discussed about if there are further changes, how you should orient yourself, right? So whatever the uncertainty of the exam, we can crack it. And as I told you at the start of this session, we can be in that 300 list of 300 students who would get this coveted job. It's just the matter of how much efforts that you can give, right? Okay. So before we log off, some things, which comes into our mind and should be addressed. First of all, future of this exam. You see, there are 2 ways to discuss the future of this exam. First of all, would this exam happen? And if it happens, when would it happen? So see, first, we cannot predict when would it happen, but going by this year's pattern, another 9-10 months is something that we look at when this exam should be happening. Alright, because the one thing is for sure, that RBI would need grade B officers, right? So they have to conduct an exam through which they would be getting those grade B officers. So this exam would happen. When would it happen? Now, with the current set of conditions, with pandemic ruling large, we cannot predict anything. But going by the standards, what had happened this year's, another 9 to 10 months, we should be getting this exam. Okay. So that is one. So it's also a considerable amount of time to get yourself prepared, because you see, first, there is going to be a considerable number of people who would be looking at this exam as another additional exam, a time pass exam, another exam to be tried. Okay. Now they would be out of the competition before even the competition has started. And the fence sitters, as I told you at the start of the session, there are fence sitters also, those who are thinking that whether they should be, going for this exam or they shouldn't be going for this exam. So those students, many of them would leave this exam. So sincere students have more chances now to get through and get their dream job, right? So for sincere students, it becomes more manageable, but it has to be planned well. It has to be, you have to orient yourself well, and that is what we have talked about in the whole session, right? So if you can follow those, you would be at the top end of the competitive list of this exam. Okay, right? But to do that, you'll have to start early and be regular. Be ahead of your competition. start early and be regular at your preparation, and focus on both phase 1 and phase 2. Both phase 1 and phase 2 preparation simultaneously. Don't think that, you will do phase 1 later on when the notification comes. No. Focus on phase 1 and phase 2 simultaneously. And that is why you see in our comprehensive course, we are starting phase 1 and phase 2 simultaneously. Why are we doing that? Because we have seen many good students who could have cracked phase 2 get out of phase 1 early. Last time we did not offer phase 1 course, na? Right? So we are offering this year. We ran a poll on that. We are offering phase 1 this year. Why? Because there had been so many students who could have cracked phase 2 with flair, but they missed out on phase 1 because they did not give phase 1 as much importance that they should have given. Right? So don't do that mistake. Okay? Right? So focus on both phase 1 and phase 2 from day 1. Right? So these are some of the advice, some of the things that I wanted to share with you regarding management, regarding the next year's preparation. Okay, and don't wait for it, whether you prepare with by yourself or whether you prepare with us. Do not wait for things to be clear, because a lot of people would be doing that, and then when they would be starting, you should be having an edge above others. Okay, so be prepared when others would be starting preparing. Okay. So that would be all for today. Hope this lecture helped you to arrange your thoughts, to clarify the doubts that you had regarding the this exam. Okay, and for those who are starting with us, see you in the course. And for all of you, all the best. Prepare well, prepare sincerely, and I'm sure you would crack this exam with flair. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.